Good afternoon, everybody. We're back here with you to have a discussion about the way that the competition is progressing. So, the first thing is to tell you, of course, that this afternoon's players are the last of stage two, and we move into the concerto stage.
Yes, the Mozart concerto stage, and we still do have some programming as well. The artist choose.
Yes, they
what they're
have to
going
give a
play.
recital as well as
Yes,
the piano
so we have
concerto.
both
That's
elements.
right.
Should be interesting.
Yes, it's interesting that this competition tests basically its chamber music playing,
Yeah, exactly.
and I think that's wonderful. Do many uh, competitions do this? Do you know?
I've seen a lot of competitions that require Mozart concerto. Actually,
Ah,
the Mozart exposes a lot of even technically good pianists.
right.
It's just deceptively difficult
Yes, yes,
to
yes,
perform well, and
yes.
it's also the Mozart concertos are very well known all across the world. So teachers also can get a good sense, at least their best sense of a performer's ability. And
Yeah, I think they've got a choice of eight, something like that.
yeah, it's
It's a big
8 or 10
choice,
concertos. Yeah,
and it seems to me most of them have chosen the D
D
minor.
minor. Yes, I did see that. So
Yes.
we'll be treated to a lot of Mozart D minor.
Well, yesterday afternoon, I can tell you, was a vintage afternoon
Yes.
for piano playing. I mean, I'm sure the audience, we know that statistically it's increasing. Perhaps they recognise the level at which this particular
Yes,
competition
at
is
this.
operating. I mean, it's not just a little provincial
Yeah,
competition
at this stage at the company, we were talking about 20 artists.
mm.
These are some of the best young pianists on the
in the
planet.
world.
Yeah.
Right.
So the level of playing is the highest it could possibly be, and
That's right.
of course us listening, it's we're mesmerized by almost every performance, and it's even more difficult for the jury. They have to pick one person out of sort of three or four for the finals.
When
Out
I
of
when
this.
I went to London in the 70s, I thought I might be able to learn to play the piano. I mean, what a joke! I mean, vanity, you see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'd like to play a little bit, or talk a little bit about Dina Ivanova, who I think could easily be a finalist in my opinion, but I might have been bowled over by her pre-Raphaelite appearance.
Yes. Well,
Very
she gave
beautiful
a
girl.
tremendous performance of the Liszt Piano Sonata.
Tremendous.
Every time we see that piece on the program, we're excited. We're on the edge of our
Or,
seat.
or in apprehension.
Yes.
One of the two.
But we're waiting to see. That's such a unique piece, such a challenging piece. It's a good test for a pianist.
But I thought we could show a clip which is actually quite interesting. It's how the pianist behaves before they play. Now, you were telling me an interesting story about
Yes,
Richter.
the famous story about Richter is when he played the Liszt Piano Sonata in his mind to kind of draw in the audience to the performance. He would count to 40. Now we talked about this a few days ago about how time is condensed, the perception of time is condensed by the pianist, adrenaline and all that stuff. So a technique that pianists use is to count in their head, and so Richter would count to 40 before playing the opening notes, and it's really a technique to make the audience uncomfortably silent. As in, what's going on? What's happening? Is there something wrong? And then the pianist begins
I
to
think
play.
Dina Ivanova is so intimately involved in the music, I mean, and the instrument itself,
Yes.
physically and mentally. She was not really manipulating us in any way.
Yes, and I like the choice of the Yamaha for this piece. The raw sound. The Yamaha's the brighter, the more kind of raw sound that's needed to bring out the kind of evil, dark elements of this work.
So I'd like to say to the people watching that the tape, what we're going to show you, has not been misaligned. We would like to show you just how this particular artist prepares her mind before she started the actual list.
Yes.
Yeah, I was sitting downstairs, very close to the piano in the front row, and I watched her very closely. And I mean, her imagination is so vivid, and she's so involved with what she's actually doing. I mean, all pianists appear to be involved,
Yeah.
but there's a there's an integrity difference here somehow.
Absolutely, the genuineness has to come across, and that's a lot of what the jury looks for. Is not this, especially in a work like this, they don't want superficiality.
She is rather theatrical. I mean, she's theatrical, but I mean, the point is we are looking at her, so...
Yeah, absolutely.
And as long as it's not sort of Liberace type...
There is an element of theatrics, but like you said, it needs to come across as genuine. It cannot come across as superficial, because then the audience feels that. So
I'd like to go on to Sejun Park, which incredibly ambitious program. I mean, first of all, Opus 109.
Yes.
In a competition, incredible ambition, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, it's a very profound spiritual work.
All the late Beethoven works require a deep sense of maturity and emotionally taxing. So to add this,
it was a beautifully balanced program, and I think the jury, of course, mark according to the way the program is put together.
Yes, it's and then he played the Scriabin Sonata.
Yes, and the Chopin Barcarolle, and a piece of Ligeti, and what we're going to listen to, which is... There was a Viennese composer and arranger named Alfred Grunfeld, and his arrangements of the Strauss waltzes are not as well known today as they used to be. Everyone played them as encores, but they're spectacularly light but charming.
Yes.
And he wrote operas too.
You mentioned to me earlier how there's an entire culture, there's a whole repertoire of music that was performed as encore music that is now lost. And so do you consider this as one of those pieces that was...
Certainly. Who would play it? I mean, you know, it's so serious things are today. It's like a church in there.
Yes.
But I'll give you a little test then. Have you heard of Cécile Chaminade?
No, I have not.
Have you heard of Benjamin Godard?
No. Oh, actually, yes. I believe I have.
Right. Have you heard of Zanella?
No.
See?
Okay, yeah.
No, I'm not trying to be difficult. No. What I was just merely indicating was that, as you pointed out, perhaps it's a question of fashion, but I think... You know, we're losing audiences, and the audiences are quite old unless there's someone like a star, like Yu Wang or Lang Lang, where young people will come to concert halls. But in the normal run, most of them are, you know, fairly elderly people.
You know, I noticed a difference here in Europe. It's a little bit different than the States. In the States, I would say that the audience is a little bit on the older side. But here I see plenty of young people going to concerts here as well, even though we don't have too many people. But when I go to the Philharmonic Hall here, I see plenty of young people. So maybe Europeans have a different attitude towards. But in the States, I would.
Well, in Warsaw, you
statement.
don't see many young people, but it could be the price of the tickets, of course. Too.
Could be as well. But I've also heard in Latin America, to the classical music, that they actually have quite the largest audience of young people going to classical concerts. So I think it.
Anyway, we'll listen to the Grunfeld now. Highly entertaining it is.
Yes, a new composer. I'd never heard of this composer until today, so take a listen to it.
Rachmaninoff.
Oh.
And so, a little bit of confectionery, but you were saying it reminds you of Paderewski. Well, of course it would, because this was his period.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the music just kind of has that charm that Paderewski has, and that same moment you were talking about how it's forgotten kind of music. I think so is Paderewski's. You know, a lot of great pianists in the early 19th century. Early 19th century, they would play, or 20th century, sorry. They would play Paderewski's music as encores, especially the minuet. Not so much anymore. It's not the case.
But Grunfeld was actually an opera composer and also a very good pianist. You can buy historical recordings of his now, of course.
Yeah, like I said, new to me.
And I mean, the rhythm, it's called Soirée de Vienne, this piece. And getting that lilt in a Viennese waltz rhythm is actually not easy because it has to be organic, you know. And I thought he did wonderful.
Really? Yeah, must have taken some dance lessons to help.
Matter of fact, that's not a joke either.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right, we move on to something a bit darker.
Yes.
Kosuke Akimoto, and
absolutely.
This was for me one of the greatest performances of the Rachmaninoff Second Sonata I have ever heard. And
not just for you, I think for all of the public and the jury as well. I think we were all...
So, I mean, if you have a chance to, if you've missed this, you in a library on the Paderewski competition website, you'd be able to listen to it, and I really suggest you do that.
Yes, absolutely tremendous. From the opening notes, for me, what was the tempo, first of all, was the tempo that he chose. Was a bit more on the extreme side, and just it kind of put me on the edge of my seat and said, "What's going to happen? He's going to manage it."
He made so much of it.
Absolutely, managed it with great temperament and the whole
expression.
Yes.
It was terrific. So we'll watch a little bit just of the beginning. When the beginning came, I knew it was going to be great,
yes.
just by the nobility of his entrance. You know, fantastic. Yes, that he was playing that wonderful Shiguro Kawai instrument, which is the hand-built Japanese instrument.
Yes, terrific. You can tell by the body language of the audience a lot. If the audience is getting restless, kind of shuffling around, moving, they're usually a sign that they're uninterested. But the audience in this case was perfectly still. Like I said, myself, I was on the edge of my seat listening to
and there were moments when he allowed the piano's resonance just to fill the hall.
Yes, just a natural kind of poetic sense.
In dramatic sense.
Yeah,
dramatic sense.
So that performance really resonated with me, and I think everybody...
Well, I think it will be the best performance of the competition.
Probably.
He may not win, or he may not even get into the final. I don't know.
Yes.
But he's a great Rachmaninoff player and
I agree with
understands
you.
it. And it's so unusual. He's Japanese.
Yes, I mean we're an international generation.
Exactly.
I think that these kind of stigmas that we have about piano schools and nationalities.
I think
kind
it's
of,
passing.
well, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this competition has certainly taught me that. Yes.
Yes.
So you wanted to say a little bit about this next pianist.
Hyuk Lee from Korea is quickly becoming one of my favorite pianists in this competition. He surprised me in the first round, and he exceeded, even more so in this stage.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to say that this is our youngest competitor. He's 16 years old.
Oh yes, and playing Brahms.
Playing Brahms and playing Liszt Mephisto Waltz. And so I was most impressed by the maturity, the interpretation. Brahms is a level of music that goes even beyond of that of Beethoven. That academic sense, that maturity of interpretation,
Yes.
that dedication to analyzing the score and understanding the music is even greater when you play Brahms, which makes Brahms so difficult. And in Brahms, so often the pianist kind of wants to push the piano, the instrument. But you can't do that when you play Brahms. When you play Brahms, you have to maintain a temperament. Brahms was not a big virtuoso. His music is very grand, is very big, but as far as this extreme sense of virtuosity, that wasn't present in his character, and it's not present in his music. And to me, Hyuk Lee really mastered that principle that is so important to Brahms.
We're going to listen to the part of the G minor Rhapsody. Is that
Yes.
right? Right. I don't know what you were doing when you were 16, but I wasn't playing like that.
Not like that at all, yes.
I think I was thinking what I was going to do with my life, or I wasn't probably even thinking that.
Yes.
Well, tomorrow there won't be a studio because it's the preparation, the rehearsals for the
Yes, we
Mozart
have
concerti.
our day off for the jurors and the
Yes.
public, so... so we won't be on tomorrow, but we
And
will have the rehearsals.
we won't need to listen to Prokofiev's Seventh Sonata again.
Yes.
If I hear the Precipitato movement, I think I need a year's rest now.
I need a few years rest, I think.
Okay, well, is there anything else you wanted to say before we sign off?
No, we still have 3 more performers
This afternoon.
This afternoon, before the final stage is announced. And I think we already have a general idea of who is most definitely moving on, and I'm sure there'll be some surprises.
Because actually they changed the rules slightly, to accept the quality is so high in this competition. They've changed the rules twice.
Really?
On the number they accepted into the first stage because of the quality, and the number they accepted into the second stage as well.
I did not know that.
Because they couldn't exclude certain people.
Absolutely, they're trying to find. It's not just a competition. It's trying to find the best artist.
This jury, you can access on the website. You can access the book, which gives you the CVs of the jury. But this is an extraordinarily eminent jury.
Yeah, international.
No, but they're very. I feel quite inadequate.
Some of the greatest pianists, musicians, pedagogues in the
absolutely.
world. So,
yes, yes.
So, like I said, I look forward to seeing who makes it tonight. And
there's one of the sort of the Ari Vardi.
Yes,
is one of the sort of institutions of the whole piano world.
Yes.
And he's here. He's such a charming individual.
Yes, and then for a lot of Polish people, Piotr Pałeczny, who's a great pianist, a very famous performer. You know, for a lot of Polish people I know.
And
as well.
the Finnish, do you remember? I can't remember his second name. Matti. I know his first name. And he also has an extraordinarily eminent career, not only in teaching but in academic work.
Yes,
you know.
I think we could say that of all the jury members. You know, tremendous. So we really are lucky. We can be rest assured that they know what they're doing, and that by the end of this competition, we have some truly phenomenal artists.
Anyway, we could talk for the rest of the afternoon, and we've just been told we have to get off the air. So
Yes.
we'll see you on Tuesday.
See you Tuesday.
Tuesday.